My panties were already at my knees, the insistent hum of my vibrator a sweet, secret song against my skin. When I realized I was no longer alone, he stood in my doorway, my stepfather, his eyes dark, watching. And the most terrifying part, I didn't stop. I couldn't. That night, a line was crossed with a man I called family, a line that stained everything and ignited an addiction far more dangerous than any toy. Welcome to Hidden Love Stories. Today, we delve into a profoundly unsettling true story of blurred boundaries, forbidden desire, and a young woman's descent into a secret, taboo relationship with her stepfather. When loneliness and a hidden addiction meet a predator's gaze, the consequences can be devastating. If you are prepared for a raw and challenging narrative that explores the darkest corners of human connection, please consider subscribing and liking this video. Your support is vital for us to continue sharing these unfiltered truths. This story contains highly mature themes and potentially triggering content. Listener discretion is strongly advised. My name is Chloe, I'm 20, and this is something I've never told anyone. I'm addicted, not to drugs, not to alcohol, but to something else, something I can't go a night without, my vibrator. It started when I was 18, curious, lonely, and quietly craving something I didn't even understand. I bought my first toy online, a sleek little pink thing that fit in my palm and made me feel things I'd never felt. At first, once a week, then every night. Now I need it before I sleep, like brushing my teeth, like drinking water. My body won't relax until I've felt it. Sometimes I tell myself it's just routine. But deep down, I know it's more. I built a secret world around it, a ritual. Soft music, dim lights, no distractions, just me and that sweet hum between my thighs. I know exactly how to touch myself, where to press, how to arch my back. I grind into my pillow. I whisper things no one will ever hear. And when it's over, I lie there in silence, satisfied, guilty, alone. I never told anyone. It was my secret, at least until he moved in. His name is Marcus, my mother's new husband. She met him on a dating app. Within weeks, he was in our house, on our couch, drinking from our mugs, like he belonged. At first, I hated the idea. No interest in welcoming some strange man into our lives, especially not my space. But then I saw him. Marcus wasn't what I expected. He was dangerous. Not scary dangerous, the kind of danger that made your thighs clench without warning. Tall, broad shoulders, deep voice, a jawline like cut glass, salt and pepper hair that made him look like a hot actor from some forbidden romance movie. And his arms, tattooed, strong veins showing just enough to make my mind wander. I started watching him from the hallway when he worked out in the garage, shirt off, sweat dripping, muscles flexing. Knew it was wrong. Couldn't help it. I started thinking about him during my nightly routine, his arms pinning me down, his rough hands grabbing my waist, his voice whispering filthy things. My little pink vibrator started to feel like him, bigger, harder, more intense. And that night, the night everything changed, I was deep into it. Legs spread wide, toy humming between my thighs, eyes closed, back arched. I whispered his name before I even realized, Marcus. And then I opened my eyes. He was there, standing in my doorway, watching. And the worst part? I didn't stop. The air in the room felt thick, charged with something I hadn't expected. Desire. Marcus stood there, hand gripping the door frame as if holding himself back, his eyes never leaving me, not for a second, and I didn't look away either. Maybe I should have turned my back, acted like it was a mistake, but I didn't. Couldn't. My body betrayed me as I kept moving, the vibrator's hum sending shockwaves, pulse racing in my throat, chest rising and falling. But it was his eyes, those deep gray eyes that stole my breath. Hungry, not just curious, not just shocked. Hungry. I'd expected to feel embarrassed, ashamed. Instead, I felt something else. Dangerous. My core tightened, that familiar ache stronger than ever. Marcus stepped forward, his broad frame blocking the light from the hallway. He didn't say anything, but I could see his chest rising and falling as fast as mine. He was fighting himself. My voice was shaky, but I didn't know what else to say. "You shouldn't be here." He didn't answer at first. Instead, he just watched, his gaze lingering on the way my fingers moved. That's when I realized I hadn't stopped. I'd kept going, pressing the toy deeper, letting it thrum against me like an invitation. Suddenly, the weight of it crashed down. What was I doing? This was my stepdad. This was wrong, wasn't it? But my body didn't care. It craved the tension, the forbidden thrill of him so close, even if only with his eyes. I felt like a string pulled taut, ready to snap. I gasped, my movement slowing as I reached the edge. But then Marcus spoke. "Tell me to leave, Chloe," he said, his voice rough. "Tell me to leave and I will." My breath hitched. I knew what he was asking, offering me an out. Giving me control, but somehow I didn't want it. Breathing hard, fingers still tracing the toy, my mind was no longer on it. It was on him. On Marcus. Slowly, I lifted my head, met his eyes, and saw it, the want in them, the same hunger I felt, the same dark, desperate need. I don't want you to leave," I whispered, barely audible. His expression shifted, lips parted as if to speak, but no words came. He just stepped forward, one slow, measured step after another, until he was next to my bed. His scent, musky, woodsy, intoxicating, surrounded me. For a moment, I thought he might touch me, take me in his arms, finish what I'd started. But instead, he stopped just inches away. Close enough, I could feel his warmth, the heat radiating off him, the weight of his gaze like a physical touch. I couldn't help but squirm, shifting my hips, the ache deep inside almost unbearable. "Chloe," his voice soft, barely a whisper. "Are you sure? You want this?" I didn't know if I was sure, but all I could think was how badly I wanted to say yes. "Yes," I breathed, hands still moving, body begging. "I'm sure." And with that, he did the last thing I expected, reached for the hem of his shirt, slowly, deliberately pulled it over his head. Abs rippled, muscles flexed as he tossed it aside. My eyes followed the trail of ink on his skin, tattoos that only made him look more dangerous, more irresistible. But it wasn't just the tattoos or muscles. It was the power, the control in his movements, the way he commanded the space. I was helpless, mesmerized, couldn't help but imagine him pressed against me, taking me in ways I hadn't dreamed. He looked at me, gray eyes dark with desire, asked again, "Are you sure?" This time I didn't hesitate. "Yes, Marcus, I'm sure." That was the moment everything shifted. Knew the line I was about to cross, knew the consequences, but with the heat unbearable, all I could think was how much I wanted him, needed him. There are moments you can never undo, moments that change everything with one touch. This was mine. Marcus stood shirtless, chest rising and falling, like he was fighting a war inside. But his eyes told me he'd already lost. And so had I. He leaned forward. I held my breath, heart pounding. His hand moved slowly, hesitantly, brushed hair from my cheek, fingers lingering, shiver down my spine. My skin craved more. Wanted him to take me, claim me, but he was slow, like he wanted me to feel every second, tease me with what I'd been begging for. "Marcus," I whispered, "touch me." He didn't answer with words. Sat on the bed edge, eyes never leaving mine. Hand moved gently down my thigh, tracing skin, learning every inch. Bit my lip, arching into his touch, desperate. When his fingers reached my panties waistband, he paused. "If you want me to stop, now's the time." Stopping was the last thing I wanted. "Don't stop," I said. "Please." He pulled the fabric down, eyes fixed on my body, felt naked under his gaze, exposed, like he saw every thought, need, dark secret. Fingers brushed sensitive skin. Gasped, legs trembling, leaned in, lips brushing my ear. "You've been dreaming about this, haven't you?" he whispered. "Yes," I breathed. "Every night, heat between us growing, tension unbearable." Took his time exploring, memorizing every reaction, gasp, moan, shiver. Then I saw it. He stood, undoing his belt, pants dropped. Eyes widened, heart skipped, bigger than expected. Thick, heavy, intimidating, froze. Imagined this so many times. Now real. Wondered if I could handle him. Saw hesitation in my eyes, leaned down, kissing my neck, voice low, reassuring. "I'll be gentle," he said, "but I want you to feel me." And I did. Moved between my legs, guiding himself with one hand, other cupping my face. Eyes locked as he pushed forward, slowly, carefully. Gasped, stretch intense, almost too much. Body tensed. "Relax, baby," he murmured, thumb brushing lips. "Let me in." Tried. Closed eyes, focusing on his voice, touch, inch by inch, filled me deeper than ever. Moaned, couldn't control. Pain there, but pleasure too, twisting, sharp, sweet. Fully inside, we both paused, breathing hard. "You feel incredible," he groaned. Clung to him, nails digging his back as he began slow, deep strokes. Every motion, shockwaves, felt full, stretched, owned. Wrong, forbidden, but felt so right. Lips found mine, hungry, desperate. Hands gripped hips, pulling me closer. Every thrust, headboard hit wall, steady rhythm, room smaller, hotter. "Marcus, I can't," I gasped. "I'm going to—" "Let go," he whispered. "I want to feel you come." And I did. Body tensed, exploded, heat, pleasure. Breathless, cried out, holding on like falling. Followed seconds later, grip tightening, groan low, deep against my neck. Over. Collapsed. Breathing ragged, bodies tangled, minds spinning. Long silence. Both knew, no going back. A forbidden line crossed, a dangerous desire unleashed. What happens now that Chloe and her stepfather have surrendered to this? If this story has you on the edge, subscribe to Hidden Love Stories and tell us in the comments if you think this can lead anywhere but devastation. It started with my vibrator. Now I can't go a night without him. Marcus. Mr. Dad. Even his name in my head sent shivers. What we did should have brought shame. Instead, hunger. Addicted. Every time he walked by, heard his deep voice, craved him, needed him like air. After that night, everything changed. Touches no longer accidental. Stares lingered. Found ways to be alone. Sneak around my mom like guilty lovers. Didn't feel like a game. Survival. Marcus started coming to my room late, quiet, careful. sometimes just lay next to me, big hand sliding up my thighs as I pretended sleep, only to melt at his touch. Other nights woke me whispering filth, body already hard against me. Loved teasing. "Tell me what you need, baby girl," he'd say. I'd whimper, desperate. "You..." "Please, Marcus, I need you." Every night with him, another layer of obsession, memory burned into skin, stretched me in ways no man had, filled me so deep I still felt him next morning. Not just sex. Nights he'd run a hot bath, washing every inch with strong hands before taking me against the steamy mirror. Mornings sneaking into the garage, me on the dryer, him lifting my dress, sliding in without warning. Dirty, wrong, so perfect. Stopped using my vibrator. Nothing felt as good as him. Addicted to his size, scent, voice growling as he pinned me, made me his. One afternoon, came home early, found him shirtless, sweat glistening, fixing something. Eyes drank him in, looked up, smirked. "Miss me already?" Walked over, purse dropping, heart racing. "You have no idea." Pulled me to his lap, mouth crashing mine, already feeling him growing beneath me. Ground against him, needy, wet, whispered, "Take me." Right here. That day, I rode him on the living room couch, moaning into his shoulder as he filled me again and again, hands gripping my waist like I was the only woman he'd ever need. We didn't hear the garage door open. My heart nearly stopped. My mom. Marcus pulled me off, tossing a blanket over us as I scrambled to fix my dress. Breathless, flushed, seconds from being caught. That day, realized how reckless we were. Neither stopped. Danger just made it hotter. Even now, don't know how long this can last, how long we can keep sneaking, stealing moments. But one thing, not addicted to my vibrator anymore, addicted to Marcus. His scent, his skin, his thick, hard length that ruins me every time. Deep down, know he's just as addicted to me. This secret affair, born from a forbidden gaze, has now escalated to a dangerous addiction. How long can Chloe and Marcus keep their secret hidden? And what will happen when her mother inevitably finds out? The stakes are higher than ever. Thank you for joining Hidden Love Stories. Please subscribe, like, and share your thoughts on this shocking true story in the comments below.